Golden elixir. I'll keep it for later. Hey, a Russian ruble. I wonder what it'd be worth today. Devil's Thorn.
Famous cross of Clement III. Perfect. And one key found. A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of water.
Amber crystals. Honey, the remedy of the gods.
Chronicles of the Amber Princes. As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character. There's a pattern with 5 circles on this chest.
Not too shocked
I beg your pardon?
about Peru this morning. I asked you if you weren't too shocked by it all.
Yes, of course. I still can't believe it.
And neither can I. How could he do that to us? There are increasingly fewer and fewer of us on Mortimer's side. I don't see at all how we are going to win the conference.
Tell me. I was wondering. You wouldn't know where to find an armillary sphere, would you?
Do you really think this is the right time? Oh, ask Volner. I am sure he will know. What with him being passionate about astronomy, you ought to get on fine together. Leave me now. I need to think of a solution.
I won't keep you any longer. See you later, monsieur.
Right. It's definitely an armillary sphere, but I have to find one that I can take with me. Otherwise, I risk drawing too much attention to my comings and goings. Now, where can I find a smaller one? Right. Let's see if the statues are in place yet. That statue is not positioned correctly.
Open sesame.
The Ring of the Nibelungs. Even if Mortimer is several centuries old, I don't see what part he has in this legend. So that's the exegesis of Judas. I hope Mortimer doesn't read it very often, otherwise he's going to notice that someone's stolen it. But that's just too bad. I need it. Right. I've got what I need. Now let's not waste any more time.
A ruble.
A chest locked with a 4-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart. An armillary sphere. Perfect. That will save me some time. I only hope that he isn't going to realize it right away.
Ah, Louis. Glad you're here.
Blasted. He's gonna talk about my mother.
Come and see what I've found. There are pieces of paper in the ashes of the chimney. Someone's been burning something here.
Incredible. He doesn't seem to want to speak to me about what happened between my mother and the Hillsborough sisters.
Show me a little.
Look, it's possible to distinguish two different writing styles.
The rest of the correspondence between my mother and Emma.
Someone tried to burn an exchange of messages. I'm certain there must be more.
Shit. What on earth is he doing?
There were more. Emma and my mother communicated through messages in this room. I found their correspondence and I preferred to burn it all so as not to leave any traces.
But why didn't you say so?
That's what I'm doing now, Mr. President. Before, well, it all seemed unimportant compared to everything that had happened.
Yes, you're right. Moreover, we ought to lend a helping hand. I shall have a word with Lord Mortimer, because the conference must not make us forget about Sarah.
No. No, thank you. No. I certainly don't want Mortimer giving me any more attention than he is at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. If you don't mind, I'll take care of it.
As you wish. Keep persevering. I shall see you later.
I wasted enough time. The Bible. The Bible's still there. This time, it'll be a lot quicker. If I remember rightly, the code was 1191. Of course. There. Those are the nails I was looking for. All right, come on. Let's get out of here. 6466, if I remember correctly.
So, good. You've managed to gather all the keys.
Yes, that's right. I have everything. What should I start with?
Place the Clement III cross on the console. Then you have to put the nails on the disc of the door.
What theme did you start with?
As the fresco shows the birth of Christ, I placed one nail in Bethlehem, one in chapter 2, and one in verse 6. The iris opened a little. I thought it was normal. Behind the aperture of the iris, there is a duct in which I put my hand. I felt something like a valve at the bottom. I thought by turning it the door would open, or the iris would open completely, or something else would happen. Instead, I felt something like an axe cut off my hand. I really thought it was the end of me.
What did you do then?
Well, although I had made some unfortunate choices, I was lucky in that Mortimer was well stocked with drugs. I raided his supplies of medicine.
What hole should I put the nails in?
Well, I can't really advise you there, because I haven't exactly made the best choices myself. All I can say is that you have to insert one to choose a town, one to choose a chapter, and one to choose a verse.
All right, my turn now.
Go ahead, impress me. I'll shut up and let you concentrate.
cycle of the moons has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. This exegesis contains comments from Judas on the different Gospels. It only contains certain chapters and verses, and the chapters are indicated by Roman numerals. The lexicon refers to different chapters and verses from the exegesis of Judas. Chapter 5, verse 2. Jesus cures the sick and lame on the 8th of Adar, 3791, in Jerusalem, at the pool of Bethesda. All stand and fling away their canes. Chapter 5, verse 2. Now, there is at Jerusalem, by the sheep market, a pool, which is called, in the Hebrew tongue, Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of the blind, halting, and withered, waiting for the moving of the water. Jesus saith unto him, Rise, take up thy bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made whole, and took up his bed, and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Chapter 24, verse 3. Jesus rose from the dead on the 14th of Nisan, 3793, in Nazareth. He appeared with a halo above his head. Chapter 24, verse 3. Jesus rose from the dead on the 14th of Nisan, 3793, in Nazareth. He appeared with a halo above his head. Chapter 24, verse 3. But when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. While they were wondering about this, suddenly 2 men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee. Chapter 14, verse 22. On the 7th of Nisan, 3793, Jesus shared his Last Supper in the Cenacle in Jerusalem. Chapter 2, verse 6. Jesus was born of Mary and Joseph on the 22nd of Tebeth at midnight, 3762, in the village of Bethlehem. Chapter 2, verse 6. And so it was that, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered of a child. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. The fresco clearly shows the birth of Christ.
Louis, I can assure you that that is not the solution to this enigma. This fresco's only purpose is to mislead. I know that now. Please, focus on another theme about Christ.
We'll have to trust her. could see that the paint has come off in parts. Difficult to see what was there, but I can distinguish the letters N-R-I. Nothing more. Why, of course. They're part of the initials INRI that you can find on the cross of Jesus at his crucifixion. Chapter 19, verse 17. Jesus was crucified on the 8th of Nisan, 3793, in a place near Jerusalem. The Romans put a crown of thorns on his head. Chapter 19, verse 17. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 others with him, on either side, and Jesus in the midst. It works.
Well done, Louis. I hadn't seen those other wheels. Try connecting the theme to see if it goes all the way.
There must surely be a connection between the wheels. Look at this. There are notches between each of the wheels. So, I have to link the name of the town from the theme I've chosen to an icon, then to a date, and finally, the date to the moon. This wheel contains several symbols made up of 1 or 2 figures and 1 letter. The highest figure does not exceed 31, and each letter corresponds to a month of the year. A for April, and M for March. I think these symbols must represent a specific date. This wheel represents the different moons. In the occult sciences, we represent the full moon by an X. As for the dark moon, called the new moon, in cults, it's often associated with something harmful. The moon shadow moves from west to east. Chapter 19, verse 17. Jesus was crucified on the 8th of Nisan, 3793, in a place near Jerusalem. The Romans put a crown of thorns on his head. Chapter 19, verse 17. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 others with him, on either side, and Jesus in the midst. Chapter 19, verse 17. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and 2 others with him, on either side, and Jesus in the midst.
During new moon, the moon is entirely in the shadow. Then, the shadow moves from west to east, meaning left to right, and goes through the following states: waxing crescents, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter, waning crescent, and the cycle starts over with the full shadowed new moon.
Eighth of Ramadan, 553, waxing crescent.
During new moon, the moon is entirely in the shadow. Then, the shadow moves from west to east, meaning left to right, and goes through the following states: waxing crescents, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter, waning crescent, and the cycle starts over with the full shadowed new moon.
Chapter 19, verse 17. Jesus was crucified on the 8th of Nisan, 3793, in a place near Jerusalem. The Romans put a crown of thorns on his head. Sixth of Rajab, 611, waxing crescent. 7th of Shaban, 607, first quarter.
I can feel the lever at the bottom.
Good luck.
I can feel the lever at the bottom.
Good luck.
I can feel the lever at the bottom.
Good luck.